Are you looking to build a second source of income that could allow you to create a better life for yourself and your family? Then stick around because I'm going to tell you how I went from being an exhausted and overworked teacher to an Etsy seller who's able to earn a low maintenance form of income, literally earn money in my sleep, and work when I want and wherever I want. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I do have a free Etsy do's and don'ts guide that is listed in the description below. And this is the perfect guide for any new Etsy sellers that are looking to avoid some of the biggest mistakes that new Etsy sellers often make. So if this is something you're interested in, then check in the description below. In today's video, I wanted to go over my personal journey with Etsy and how I was able to create a digital product-based business that allows me to work from home and at any time I want. So the first question many of you may be asking is, why Etsy? So a little bit about me. I'm from the US, but I've been living in southern Spain since 2016. And for several years, I worked as an English teacher in Spanish public schools and private schools. So like I said, I'm from the US and I live in Spain. So one of the things that I really didn't like about working in a public school was that I was very limited to when I could go home and visit my friends and family. So this is something that's always been very important to me, that even though I live very far away from my family and friends, I've always made a big effort to try to be around as much as I humanly can, as humanly possible, in order for me to still be involved in their lives. And so I really realized that working in a public school prevented me from being able to do that, both based on time and financially. If you're a parent or a fellow teacher, then you know that lives can really revolve around that school calendar and that school schedule, and my life included. So the only time that I could really go home and visit my family was during Christmas break and during the summer. And if you enjoy traveling or you're familiar with traveling and the insane ticket prices of planes these days, then you know that traveling during the holidays or during the summer is the absolute worst time to travel. It's expensive, everyone else is traveling, and it's just a really not enjoyable experience. So this was one of the big motivating factors for me to stop working in a public school in a brick and mortar situation, because I really wanted to have that location freedom. And so this was one of the first steps in me kind of on my personal journey to working for myself and working online, because I really wanted a way that I could still earn money while not having to be bound to a specific place and with a specific schedule. So after about 4 years of working in public and private schools in the actual physical building, I decided to switch to online teaching. So I started working for a company that allowed me to teach English online. So basically, at this point, I was able to switch to a remote position that allowed me to work wherever I wanted. I also started to kind of get a taste for being able to set my own schedule and my own hours. And while I enjoyed this, it did bring its own challenges. If you're a parent, a teacher, a preschool teacher, or work with kids in any aspect, then you know that it can be very exhausting. And so while I was working online and teaching online, I had very young students. So my job was very exhausting. And I just found myself just tired all the time. I really enjoyed teaching online because I could work from anywhere and set my own schedule, but it had some limiting factors that I did not like. So the first thing is this was an active source of income. So if you're not familiar with passive income versus active income, let me explain that real quick. So active income is money that you earn when you're actively working. So you have to do something in order to receive money. So in order to receive money, you have to actively be doing something. So for me, this was teaching. I had to teach in order to make money. This could also be working at a restaurant or your salary job. Any source of income where you're trading your time for money is active income. So one of the worst things about active income is you only have so much time in a day, and you only have so much that you can give as a person in order to make money. So there were times I was making several $1,000s a month, but I was working all day teaching 15 plus classes a day. So I was absolutely exhausted and I wasn't able to give much more. So I kind of capped myself out. I couldn't teach more than I was teaching. I couldn't do more than I was doing. So it limited me in how much I could earn. It limited my earning potential. So I think it was during this time, during about August of 2020, when I really started to experience a huge burnout from this particular job. I was working all the time, I was working long hours, and I just didn't have the energy to really do anything else. I worked and then that was my day. I didn't have anything else to give. And so I knew that this had to change because I couldn't do this forever. So I started to investigate other ways that I could earn money online while still working remotely because I didn't want to give up those things that I had been enjoying for a couple of years of working when I wanted to, setting my schedule, being able to work from different locations. I really enjoyed those aspects of my job, but I just reached a point where I was working way too much and it wasn't sustainable and it didn't make me happy. So it was during this time that I think I started to hear some things about digital product businesses, how you can sell digital products for passive income, and that kind of piqued my interest. And so I started to investigate ways that I could do this for myself. So that's when I discovered that one of the best places that you can sell digital products is on Etsy. And I was really intrigued by this at first because I've been an Etsy shopper and an Etsy buyer for many years. And so I really trusted Etsy and I was kind of intrigued and excited about the idea of becoming an Etsy seller myself. So one morning, kind of on a whim, I decided to jump headfirst into the world of Etsy, and I never really looked back. And I'll be honest, I didn't go into it with a lot of planning or ideas about what I was going to do and the idea of like the longevity of the business. I didn't think about that. But I was just super excited about the idea and the prospect of earning a low maintenance passive form of income that would allow me to improve the quality of my life. And I really hoped that one day I would be able to replace my job with this new stream of income, which I was able to do. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I was not able to leave my teaching job immediately after creating my Etsy shop. I didn't have immediate success where I was making thousands of dollars a month. That was just not the case for me, and it's honestly not the case for most people because building a digital product-based Etsy business is not a get-rich-quick scheme type of business model, and it is something that you have to put forth some work into. So it was not something that I was able to just create and then forget about forever because I had to build it. I would say the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome when I first started my Etsy shop was that I just didn't know what I didn't know. I know that sounds simple, but it's so true. When you're learning something new, there are so many nuances and so many things and so many details that you have to know in order to do it well. And I just didn't know what I needed to do in order to become a successful digital product-based Etsy seller. And because of this, my Etsy journey was quite long and hard at first because I didn't know how to implement the best practices in order to be able to see success. Thankfully, I was really determined to make this work, so I was able to kind of push through that first year, even though I wasn't making a lot of sales. I probably didn't have my first real organic sale until probably my second or third month with my shop. And so those first couple months, it was just kind of a waiting game, and I felt really frustrated because I didn't know what I was doing wrong. But now I know that I was doing a lot wrong, and it prevented me from getting those first sales. So for my first year, I was probably only making about $20, $30, $40 a month if I was lucky. And I was happy about that because that meant I was making sales. But obviously I was not reaching the potential that I could as a digital product seller. So slowly I started to do more research and started investigating ways that I could up my sales because I knew that there was potential there. I just didn't know what it was that I needed to be doing. So that's when I started to learn about all of the best practices that I needed to implement in order to be a successful seller on Etsy. So to give you an example, when I first opened my shop, I didn't understand the importance of the title of your listing. For me, I thought this just meant that this was the name of the product. And I didn't know that I needed to fill that title with important keywords. And if this is all kind of gibberish to you, that's okay. I didn't know at first either. You may not know now, and that's okay. So keywords are basically, at the root of it, they're the words that customers, your potential customers, are typing into the Etsy search bar in order to be able to find products that they want to purchase. So you need to have those keywords in the title of your products that you want to match with their Etsy search. If not, Etsy has no way of knowing that your product matches what they want, so Etsy doesn't know that it needs to pair them together. So, for example, I would list things like as worksheet or coloring pages. Things are very general, and while they are keywords, they're not specific enough to actually help you rank high enough in the Etsy search that your product would ever show up to that buyer. So I didn't understand how powerful the product title of my listing was, so I wasn't taking advantage of it, and therefore it was affecting my sales. So that's why I created this YouTube channel and why I've created my courses, because I want you to have a simple and straightforward Etsy selling journey, one that's not full of late night researches and trying to piece together random information that you find from 10 different sources and then trying to figure out what's accurate and what's not. I truly want to help you create that second source of income so that you can work when you want and how much you want. My goal is to teach you everything that I didn't know and everything that I've learned on the way. Because looking back, I really do wish that I'd had someone there who was giving me advice and telling me all the things that I needed to do and telling me what I didn't know, because it would have saved me so much time, so much stress, and made my Etsy journey so much better. I'm truly so thankful for Etsy and the impact that it's had on my life. It has allowed me to leave the teaching job that just drained me and left me with absolutely nothing left to give. It has given me the ability to earn that low maintenance income by creating digital products one time and then being able to sell it infinitely. It's allowed me to go from a source of active income to a source of passive income. I'm able to sell products when I'm cleaning the kitchen, when I'm on vacation, or when I'm sleeping. And for that, I'm so thankful. Etsy has allowed me to experience so much more freedom and increased my quality of life. Now I can go to the US and visit my family for a month, and I don't have to worry about waking up at 4 a.m. in order to teach classes. And I just really love being able to work on things that I'm actually passionate about and running a business that I've created from scratch. It gives me such a great feeling, and I'm always just so excited for the potential of my business and what's to come. So if you're like me and you're looking for a way to create that second source of income or even eventually replace your income, if you're looking to improve your quality of life, gain back some of your time and your freedom, then I'm here to go along your Etsy journey with you and give you all the advice that I wish I had known so that you can start your Etsy business on the right foot and so that you can start earning that income faster than ever. Now, don't forget that you can get my Etsy do's and don'ts guide that goes over the 5 biggest mistakes that most new Etsy sellers make and how we can fix them. These are some of the mistakes that I made, and they're mistakes that I hope that I can help you avoid. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can be updated on all my latest videos. All right, I'll see you next time.